you.
What Speaking Freedom does online is provide general information for the culture to use to advance and improve. What we do privately is help individualize it for your needs and benefits. Grow with us.
We are kings, we are gods, but how you get them to believe it when they don't believe in anything? We're gonna save some lives in this lifetime. We haven't church in a while. Like God's doctor in the streets, the Holy Ghost used me to set them free. If love is the new religion, the hate is sinning, we stay winning. Just handling God's business, we ain't tripping. No bread to be dipping.
'Cause we're speaking freedom, giving you the answers to be free.
We use the client to develop, to grow, and to bring out the best in themselves. We are simply a tool to help you learn how to make better decisions. Not just one decision, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Encouraging each person through each trial and tribulation.
So I am thinking about what could possibly likely make one's skin able to absorb the sun more or better versus another. How iron may play a part in that, and it makes me want to understand if every single human is chemically made the same. Now, it's probably impossible to know if every single human is chemically made the same, but it makes me want to know if deficiency in your body would be the same amount of deficiency in my body. So if I am made of different components, blood type, whatever genetic factors play into your blood type and your DNA. If I am made different, if my genetic makeup is different than yours, do we have the same levels as each other? So that would also make me want to know if a heavier, fatter person, which accumulates more blood in their system, is chemically engineered the same way as a thinner person. So obesity makes a difference, especially when it comes to health, because of the differences how it plays in your body. So you have more sugar, you have more of all the things, some things that you may not necessarily need. But my question goes beyond the average thinking when it comes to that particular subject. I don't want to know if because you're fatter you're going to die faster. I want to know how your genetic makeup and chemistry alignment is different than mine. We all have different fingerprints. We all have different everything is completely different about completely everyone. So I am led to believe that there is a possibility that but then it has to be some type of, they've created a medical standard, but I don't know if that medical standard is standardized based on the actual data or based on the collective amongst people. Because they could tell you what percentile you are when you're born. They can tell you what, based on all of your height on birth, head size on birth, and all of these different things. They can tell you what percentile of people you will be in. That's not saying that that's based on your genetic, quote unquote, your genetic makeup, your size of your head, the length of your body. It's certain things about you as an individual that puts you in a percentile. within your being, something created that figuration to put you in that percentile. It's something about your blood, something about the things that is created within your blood that make up your body, created these certain dimensions, these certain characteristics that tell the researchers that have come this far that this is the percentile, and this is the amount of intelligence, and this is the amount of this, or this is the where we can expect this person. Now, it could mean intellect, but it does not mean mental process. It does not mean that you're going to be able to, your brain is going to work like the other people in this percentile's brain will work. Because the concept of your mind, the way that you learn, is all specifically for you. So, as I'm saying this, it sounds as though that they've gotten into a normal range. What's normal based on majority of people? So, based on majority of healthy people, this is normal. And anything outside of this statistic of healthy people is abnormal. Now, the thing is if abnormal is perfect for you and your chemical makeup, like a tall person being 360 pounds is not, Shaq 360 pounds is not the same 360 pounds of a woman that or a man that is 5'9". Those are two different 360 pounds. But based on each person's chemical makeup, that 360 pounds is going to be different for each person. For one person, that person may end up having diabetes. But for the Shaq, 360 pounds don't mean diabetes for him. And that when I start to think of how we are all different, it really saddens me about how everybody wants to look and be the same, because we are all literally made differently in every shape, form, and fashion that you could possibly think of. And with that being said, it goes back to the initial thought process of how does iron and the other chemically prescribed components of the human body play into pigmentation. I am more focused on how it affects the soul, which is the core of who we are. But in order to do that, I kind of need to understand more about what makes us like the earth. The earth's got grass and trees. We got hair on our arms and our legs and shit. The earth has a heated core. We have a heated core centered in our hearts. Now, it's not necessarily the center of our entire body, but it is the center of your the main component of your body, which is your actual body, not your extremities, excluding your head. You will add your head in there, but even if you consider from your neck down, it's the most protected portion of your being. I don't know how it was formed. We are not formed differently from animals. We do not have a whole different genetic makeup than animals. We are not just some totally different type of being than animals. We are an advanced version of species kind of combined. Like if the world started with animals in it, if it was an animal planet, then the frisky or freaky nature, animalistic nature, and the ability to procreate amongst other animals. Like, I don't know if a monkey could get a giraffe pregnant, but I know that they could probably make test tubes of that experiment at this point in 2019, the year of 2019. You know, like, yeah, they can probably put some shit together if they hadn't already, just to try to see what it could be. And that could be a wild type of experiment, but it wouldn't be beyond me if something like that was to actually be, you know, happening. But the point that I'm making is not whether or not there's an experiment that's doing this or doing that. The point that I'm really making, and the thing that I'm really focused on, is the chemical components of our blood. And if we are all created the same and created equally. Because there is something telling me that for whatever reason, it's deeper than anything that we've been ever told before, and deeper than what we know to look at and see. But it's something that we have to seek out ourselves, because it's been whitewashed really, really, really bad. And not whitewashed, it's not in favor of those who have been oppressive to the culture, to the people, those who came and sought to take over. It's not in their best interest for us to be aware of the vastness of our truth, because we have been dominated as Africans in America and indigenous people by the lack of our own ability to learn, grow, and know the truth of both where we come from and the potential that we could possibly see. So it just makes me wonder, like, you know, is it because amongst a certain number of people there is a such thing called quote unquote normal, but everybody is not chemically the same, which is why we all have differences anyways. But in regards to the genetics that make one, like, I don't know if if there is an African American DNA code that if you have this type of blood, or if you have traces of certain things in your blood, that actually makes you an African American. Aside from our skin color, and by region of which our souls are born onto this planet, I have a lot of questions about the human body and various aspects of the chemical makeup of our DNA, and I would love to read and do some research, or be involved in some research in regards to what makes us us on a blood level, because it's just some things that just right now, when I think about the iron in our blood, absorbing the sun as a source of vitamin D, and the ability to absorb the sun differently with darker pigmented skin, which has to mean something, because and I'm talking about on the grand scheme of things, it has to mean something, because there's no way in my mind, now my mind could be off in this topic, but in my mind, it's no way that you can absorb the sun in a different way and it not mean something. Not only does it not mean something, because there are people that's deemed African American that can't absorb the sun, that's light skinned, that don't have the same complexity of other people that can absorb the sun, and they're still titled African American. So, again, it just leaves me with questions about melanated skin and vitamin D. I have questions about melanated skin and iron versus unmelanated skin or pigmented skin and iron. I want to know the differences of the chemical makeup from a pigmented person, like the study versus, because they do it, but the way that it's presented to us is not it doesn't seem as though they're leaving out the information that would make anybody superior, would tell anybody any more about their dominance, if there was one, especially if it's not the people that's in charge that's dominating the people that's dominant. It just gives me so many questions, because it's a lot of things that just don't make sense. And it has really jarred my mind today as I am just thinking about life and being a human being and the differences of being a human being. And then that in comparison, the differences of being an animal, because whatever is in their blood, however each animal, however each creature, including ourselves, is made, determines our abilities, our inabilities. Man, it's just so much. And then when you think about how some people can developed in the womb, deformed or missing limbs, or something being wrong with that child, like, it's just so many narratives that are present that leads me back to a previous point that I've already made about the things that go on in your life when you're pregnant affects the children that you birth during each and every pregnancy. So on the male part of the semen and his state of mind and state of being when he releases the semen, as well as on the female part, but the female has a longer history, a longer substance with this, because the female is actually carrying that baby for those 9 months. So every single emotion that child experiences in those 9 months will manifest, I believe, in the total development of that child. But again, if we look at, because today when I was looking in, today on July the 15th of 2019, I looked up about iron. I wanted to see what is it within us that has us gravitationally pulled down to this planet. Oh, was this supposed to be? I'm sorry. I think I'm in the wrong lane or something, because I don't think I think I was supposed to be able to go straight, and like that shit just was all fucked up. Because I'm sure there's a straight lane too. Man, I need to go back and see what I was saying about the gravitational pull. What causes the gravitational pull in us to this planet? And what I found was Earth, outer core, the inner core, I believe, is like hot lava, fiery, something, and then the outer core is made of iron, magnesium, and a whole bunch of other things that we have in our body, which seems to be, to me, the gravitational pull that connects us to the earth. So it's crazy because just the earth's core being made of fire or being thought to be hot is what leads me to believe that if there was a hell, earth would be that, in a sense of like the planet is a fireball that manifested into what we see now. And because the planet is a fireball manifested into what we see now, the Big Bang could be possible. But I can't say here or there about that. I do believe that I believe in aliens and extraterrestrial beings. I believe in it because they wouldn't have gave it a name if it wasn't a such thing. I know that we are all different. I know that in our difference, we are yet the same. I know that we are all a part of this living organism that we know as Earth. I know that the way that the Earth, it's so funny because just so happens when you look at the blood cells and you go and look up what type of blood cells or what's in your blood, and it shows you the plasma, the white blood cells, the red blood cells, and the outer core of the earth in most diagrams, which also would give you your reason for lava being orangish, reddish color as it comes out, but it changes color as it cools off. But its main core, the core of the red blood cells, is red, and it is separated in such a way that it has 3 layers, and within those 3 layers, it reminds me of what we see on Earth and the way that the planet diagram shows us Earth to be. Saying that to say this: iron in the outer core of Earth is also depicted to be red. Coincidence? Maybe, but nothing be really coincidence for real, if you really pay attention to things. But that in itself is just baffling to me. And then all of the substances in which Earth is formed is replica of who we are as beings. The center of us is the heart. On the center of us being the heart, then outside of the heart pumps and gives life to everything else. And then as the heart pumps and gives life to everything else grows. But what would be the brain of the core is the heart, then the sun would kind of likely be the brain. And I only say that because it provides the light, like the eyes provide the light into which everything else is able to grow. But just knowing that we need the sun for vitamin D, for heat, and that its magnetic pull Because if everything revolves around the sun, then the sun is the optimum of the magnetic pull that keeps the planets aligned the way that they are. So in order to protect Earth, we have to begin to protect trees and vegetation, all vegetation. So being a vegetarian might actually be helping to kill the planet, because we need as much of an ozone layer to be able to maintain life as we know it as possible. Now, as the ozone changes and the chemistry of the world changes, our bodies will naturally adjust, because that's what our bodies do. Our bodies are literally a part of this planet, so it's going to adjust with whatever the planet requires, considering a few things. There are certain things that our bodies are required to have. Water, which is a requirement on Earth. We are required to have substance. If you have enough water, you probably could survive. But the Earth provides substance for your body, so you don't have to, be without. But the Earth provides, is not limited to that of the greenery. The Earth provided us. We were given to this earth. The earth gave us life. The Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, is about breath. We can't breathe without the trees that give us oxygen that's created from the earth. But without the proper amount of iron, our oxygen won't be the same. Like when you look at the components of our blood and the function that, like, this body is literally just the core of everything else. Our soul is within this body and is able to breathe life because of the spirit of breath, because of earth, because of the oxygen, because of the air. Now, how we managed to manifest in these particular type of bodies versus that of a dog or animal or, a car. And I don't know if cars have souls, but they have an engine. The engine is the soul of a car. We are recreating the organism in ways that I don't know if it was destined for us to be what we see right now. I don't know if that was Earth's plan or if that was planned of man because of taking advantage of Earth's land. Because the Earth is self-sufficient in every way, shape, form, or fashion. This Earth is completely self-sufficient. If we did nothing, the Earth would survive. Matter of fact, if we did nothing, the Earth would probably do better than the Earth is doing now. But we've created all of the things that we see, not out of need, out of want, out of desire, out of convenience, out of focus, out of interest, out of the ability of our minds to believe and create. The only issue is how did humans and other species of living beings take form on this planet. Even if it's a soul, like, in order for a soul to begin the process to manifest into human life, could man come from the ground? it's a little bit deeper than that, because when I did my previous research about how living organisms are formed, like literally you could kind of if sperm, just hear me out, if sperm got into any type of vessel in which it could begin to live, it would be created into whatever form that it's able to adapt to. The sperm that male humans have is adaptable to whatever type of being it is laid in. Now, I don't know what type of being would be formed in with a human sperm and other type of living organisms, but one would be created if that sperm was able to find a place to grow. Water, for whatever reason, I don't know if water makes tadpoles or how water births mosquitoes and how all of that works, because a mosquito, from what we know of them, the form of a mosquito to look like, is really shaped kind of like a sperm. Like I'm just saying the similarity in shapes. I'm not saying that a mosquito is a goddamn sperm. That's not what I'm saying. I'm finding the correlation of species and beings within this planet. So my mind, as I'm speaking, my mind is rifling through its file cabinets to different thoughts of different things that have similarities, whether in appearance, in being, or whatever the case may be. That's what's going on. So when I say, but there are similarities, if you begin to look at different similarities, but I'm trying to figure out specifically, if you leave water outside, something about that water bursts, attracts, or manifests mosquitoes, bugs. All you need is water. Now, I don't know if other mosquitoes come, and I don't know if mosquitoes like lay eggs or how mosquitoes are formed, but there's 100% certain chance that if you have a body of water, let's say you leave a swimming pool unattended, you don't clean it, you don't do nothing, that thing gonna be so nasty. It's gonna be so many bugs that are formed in that swimming pool that it will spin your head for a loop. Definitely. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, man, we are so distracted. We are so distracted by bullshit that has nothing to do with the concept of living life on earth, and everything to do with trying to make living life on earth more enjoyable. But we are very distracted from the concept of why we are here on earth. Purpose. Not globally, individually, collectively, in every single way, in every single league you can then go imagine. And man, it's baffling to me how much we don't pay attention to our living organism that we're living on. Like, we're connected to this earth. Whatever iron, I gotta figure out when I tell you, when I say iron sharpens iron, I mean something different now. But I need to figure out what makes a magnet a magnet. because that's what is connecting us to earth. That's the way our blood connects our souls to this earth. The magnetic force within our blood connects our souls through our hearts to this earth. And we need oxygen in order to live. Our oxygen is affected by the iron and magnesium within our bodies. It's so many variables that completely align that we collectively don't pay attention to, don't know enough about, haven't had much interest in for whatever reason. Because really we're not given any information about who we are as human beings when we are formed on this planet. We are not given any information about having a soul or what it means to have a soul when we are born onto this planet. When we are born onto this planet, immediately they get a copy, a sample of our DNA. They want to know who we are and where did we come from. And it's something about various parts of our DNA, the genetics formed, and when we are born, maybe even the region and who we are born to, that speaks a lot about more than what we know. That's all I can say at this point, because I can't say what we do or what we don't know. I just know that we are overly consumed in things that don't help us as human beings. And when we're born into this planet, we don't learn about being a human being at all. We don't learn nothing about the way the mind works, your thought process, what a thought process is. We learn nothing about humanism, if that's a word. We don't learn shit about what it means to live and function on Earth as a planet and how that planet connects to our body. Now, let me say this. We might not know shit or be made aware of shit because they don't know shit. And they just trying to figure it out just like we trying to figure it out. Or it's some stuff that we should know that we don't know because we've been told that you're just a human being. All you need to know is that you have a name. We're going to give you a name. We're going to give you a social security number. And we're going to help you function in this world, even though you're not of this world. Now, you may be of this world. I don't know. That's the part it goes back into your iron levels. If everybody has the same iron levels, or if people's iron levels depict certain things about them as a human being, and other aspects of being a human, like what makes us a human. Okay, we have what makes us a human. And then once we get beyond that we are human, what else does our DNA and genetic makeup and blood say about us? Okay, we got blood types. Okay. What do our blood types mean to us as people on this living organism? Because animals, I'm sure animals probably have blood types too. Or they don't have blood types because they are their blood determines their species based on, you know, what type of blood it is. Based on that tells you what type of species it is. So it would tell us the same thing, but humans only have a certain number of blood types that's tracked, and amongst those blood types tell you what type of human being you are. Now, I don't know if it got to do with the soul or not. We ain't going there just yet, but it could tell you what type of soul you are, what age soul you are, and like, but it's just so many narratives of being a human on Earth amongst other animal species that also have blood and bleed, and they have organs, and they have all of these other components that we also have. There are other mammals. When you think about reptiles, I think they bleed blood too. I don't know if their blood is red or not, but man, it's deep. It's really deep. I've been on here talking for 40 minutes, and I'm still just barely scratching the surface of the possibilities of what I could be onto. And that's crazy, because like, so many different factors of being a human being, and we know none. All we know is that we all have a brain. We hope. We don't know if all brains are the same sizes. If the size of your head determines your brain size, then some brains might be bigger than others. But what makes one brain bigger than another brain, and what type of species or animal also have those size heads or shapes or brains or whatever, which makes me think back to aliens. When I think of, because I've known a few humans that had odd-shaped heads that were depicted to be sort of like what the aliens that we see depicted on TV, not the cone heads, but the ones that have the big, all of the ancient time, you know, shit that they be showing us about aliens, the different type of aliens that we believe to be in existence. There are human beings with that type of skull, genetic makeup. So I had my thought process, my brain, the way my brain works is telling me that we need to learn more about being human beings overall. We need to learn about different type of species and not just be limitedly involved. Limitedly involved. That means we don't know shit. We don't know shit about how the human body really works. We don't know shit about how the brain works for real. All we got is studies that tell us that this is what it looked like in there when we do this. And guess what? When you think about the way any picture depicts the brain, when it's highly active, it's hot. When we on fire in sports, we hot. We on fire. The commonalities in so many things that we don't see is beyond me. And I cannot wait to listen to this back amongst other intellects, and we can discuss what I'm saying in such a way that it will revolutionize being a human being. Like, I'm on this human being thing right now because it's a blessing to be able to conceptualize and to communicate in such a large way, but other animals communicate. We may not understand the communication amongst other animals, but animals, dogs, bark to each other. They be talking. And the way dogs sound to us, we probably sound to them. Like, there's a lot of indications of a lot of different things, and it's a lot of things that you can see on TV and in movies and things that kind of have, where you see people in their minds have had the concept or thought process of some of the things that I'm saying, but broken up into several different pieces of a huge puzzle that have never been placed together so that we could actually understand the vastness of our world in a way that allows us to grow and be very productive. Let's say that. So, I said all that to say, we got a lot of growing to do, people. We have a lot of understanding of who we are as human beings to do. And I know that, generally speaking, I think more recently, in the last 6 months to a year, we have spoken deeply about becoming better human beings and learning more about the human being process. But now it's a better focus because we need to understand what makes us different, what makes each person who they are or who they're not, what makes one skin darker in relation to iron, in relation to all the various types of things that's in our blood that's identical with what's in the earth, basically. Yes, got a parking space, pulling up to the, oh shit, they just played me. They coming, they ain't getting out. I thought they was leaving. I got played. I ain't really get played. I just thought that was gonna be a parking space, and it was not. And I probably should have just went back the other way and then came back around, because I ain't gonna be able to go right there right now. Anyways, sorry. Got distracted. Thought I had a parking space at the VA. If you ever been to a VA ever anywhere, you know how parking is very difficult 99% of the time. And it's a blessing to be able to pull up and pull right into a parking space. So one tends to get excited in which the time that actually happens, which is rare. But yeah, it's a lot more growing that we got to do as people in order to understand life a little bit more, like not the exterior things of life that we are creating in order for our enjoyment, so that we don't have to really figure out why we're here on this planet, or what we're supposed to be doing as a soul on this planet, what we are manifested here to do, yada yada yada. We've been skipping over a lot of shit to find enjoyment, and most times it don't seem like nobody's enjoying it. That's the crazy part. Like, the narrative of life that has been created up until this point is really bizarre, I have to admit. I mean, like, bizarre as shit, because it's so much that we don't know about that it doesn't leave room for us to learn anything about the things that we should know about. I did find 2 parking spaces. Actually, it's like 3 or 4 back over here. But man, praise God. Thank you for deciding to come this way, so I can get this parking space right here today. So yeah, we just got to learn more about being humans, because what today unveiled to me. I don't know if what I posted on social media earlier was as good to anybody else as it was to me. But what I realized is that we don't know shit about living on this planet at all. Pinpoint blank whatsoever. And at 50 minutes, I think that's a wrap.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live what I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all inside of me is sexual chocolate.
Thank you for joining Speaking Freedom as we continue to assist you with your daily growth and intuitive wisdom. Loving is a lifestyle and we love to love. Inspiration is how we fuel faith. Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love you.